Do you know that Garri is not from Nigeria? It is actually from here in Brazil. I'm presently here in Brazil, and this country has made me interested in learning more about history. I am not about to go that route alone. Welcome to History Class 101. In the 14th century, only 3 continents knew about one another. These are Africa, Europe, and Asia, which were later referred to as the Old World. They thought they were the only one that existed on Earth. This changed when Christopher Columbus stumbled on a land thinking he has gotten to India. This land is what we know today as the Bahamas. This was the beginning of the discovery of the New World. In summary, the New World is what we know today as the North America and the South America. We need to know that the supposedly New World was not empty when they discovered it. There were indigenous and native that were present in these territories. Brazil was discovered in the 1500s by the Portuguese, and they realized that Brazil has fertile lands for the plantation of cash crops, especially sugarcane. So the Portuguese quickly established territory in Brazil and commenced business. Eventually, this business started to boom, and sugarcane was in high demand. This led to demand for labor. Initially, the natives and indigenous people found in Brazil were the ones made to work in these plantations. However, most of them started dying due to diseases from the Europeans, and some fled because of the work conditions. In the late 15th century to early 16th century, the big business of transatlantic slave trade began. Though slave trade was already present in Africa and some other parts of the world, but the slave trade that Europeans introduced was nothing compared to what was in existence before. Especially in Africa, enslaved people were mostly used for domestic activities or military purpose, like going to war against local communities. Over 50% of the population of Brazil are from African ancestry. Africans were shipped in from different ethnic groups and different communities. But the 3 major ethnic groups were Bantu people, the Yoruba people, and the Fawn people. The Bantu people are people from what we now know as Angola, Mozambique, and Congo, while the Yoruba people are a West African ethnic group who mainly inhabit parts of Nigeria, Benin, Togo, and Ghana. This is the origin of Afro-Brazilians or Africans in Brazil. You would also find Africans in other parts of South America, the Caribbean, and even the North America. This was what was considered as the New World, and it was mainly built on enslaved Africans and immigrants. You can still find natives and indigenous people in these countries. However, there are very few of them. The enslaved Africans in Brazil made sure to preserve and pass on their culture and traditions, which is very evident in their daily life today. So Garri is not originally from Nigeria. It is from Brazil, and it was introduced to Nigeria by the Portuguese during the slave trade era. So the trade did not only involve slaves, it also involved exchange of food, materials, and resources. There were a lot of things that were introduced to Brazil by the Yorubas that is still in existence to today, especially in the area of African religion. We'll talk about this in my next video. See you in the next class.